what it was, but I think it's been a year where I've had to be calibrating my expectations and my approach. But I think we shouldn't also be too hard on ourselves. Together with yourselves, the advocacy that we've been carrying out has begun to yield some fruits. I mean, several state governments now have waived right-of-way charges. I think within the past 1 year, we had about 8 state governments go to zero right-of-way. And that would not be possible without the efforts of all of us in this room. And of course, we have to also thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for signing the executive order on the critical national infrastructure.
It was a gathering of industry stakeholders, telecom CEOs, government representatives, past presidents and media practitioners at the 31st anniversary celebration of the Association of Telecommunication Companies of Nigeria. It provided a platform for stakeholders to review the state of the telecom industry, especially the issue of critical national infrastructure, right-of-way, and how vandalism is stifling the growth of the sector. TechTV was on ground to cover it and brings you this report.
What we need to do is to do what we have always done. We've always educated everybody on the need to ensure that we don't tax investment and that we should wait to tax production and sales and profit. You know, in the past, people thought that telecommunications, because people say, oh, we make a lot of money, therefore, as soon as we want to invest, you know, there's the tax master, you know, wanting to take its own part even before we start. And I thought that by now we should have gone far. But I'm happy that the president mentioned it recently. The president, in that tax reform thing, has addressed this issue. And I hope that what I'm reading in that tax reform paper is what it is. You know, this government looks like one that will make sure that the state governments listen to us and they do the right thing. That's my hope, and ATCON should not relent.
Wow, it's tough, it's complex. We have to deal with 36 different entities because they are the ones in charge of right-of-way. A lot of them look at it as an opportunity to get revenue, but we have to work to persuade them that for the greater good, and that ultimately the benefits will be much more if we're able to help their communities develop, leveraging IT, and the revenues they're looking for in the immediate will be much more in the future. So it's a persuasion game. We can't avoid it, and unfortunately, that's be one by one. There's no collective solution because all of them are entitled to they have the rights. The states have the rights over what right of way is done in their states. You know, so it's complex but it's doable. So hopefully we will be able to succeed there. In terms of critical infrastructure, very important. You know, because it costs us a lot of money to put this infrastructure in place, and we still have a lot of vandalization. You know, and that's really affecting the industry and setting it back. So we have to work with the security agencies to try and minimize or eliminate this scourge on the system, as it were.
I believe the president is very focused on this, and I'm sure that EVC and other stakeholders are working towards the declaration of telecom infrastructure as critical national infrastructure in the country. I think it's been done. I'm not sure. A couple of weeks ago, I saw some announcement that finally telecom infrastructure has been finally described as very critical to the survival of the country. So I think we almost done, if not finally done.
Well, we just have to keep engaging them. I think with the recent happenings, especially in West Africa, you know, in March there was a fiber cut that threw so many people into internet darkness, let me put it that way. They've woken up to the fact that when we say something is a critical national infrastructure, we are not speaking just because we are selfish practitioners in a sector that want to further our nest or push an agenda that is beneficial to just a few players. I think that incident reverberated around Africa, and they now see that when we say something is critical, it's actually good for national security, it's good for business, it's good for economy. And the states that are lagging behind, I think a lot of them have to do with, the silo mentality that sometimes happens in government. It just takes time to go and engage everybody, and that's part of the challenge that we have in the country. We don't have easy ways of bringing stakeholders across different levels and sectors together to agree and move forward. You always have people who want to be consulted personally or privately, so it just makes it tedious. But I believe that truth always has a way of coming out. It's critical national infrastructure. Right of way is integral to national development. Technical and technological skills must be developed for us to take our rightful place in the world, on the world stage, on the global stage, and to help really take advantage of our youthful population and the appetite of investors who want to come in here. I think it's just a matter of time before we knock down the others.
One of the major activities of ATCON is advocacy, and a major advocacy point is what we have just raised, the issue of right of way. Without the right of way being granted to telecoms operator, it becomes very difficult to deploy infrastructure. But happily, some state governments are already being positive in that direction. We at least I know of about 8 states now where the right of way is being granted at zero cost, which is very encouraging. So I think that advocacy is achieving its results because state governments are now listening. So we want to encourage the rest of the state governments to grant reasonable rates, and at best zero rates for right of ways.
I think what you have is that we have a president that was very responsive to what was a recurring issue. Infrastructure damage costs the industry a great deal of money, and that money is best spent in further developing the infrastructure of the industry. What I see now is that there's an opportunity for the state governments to key into that. As you know, digital economy is the backbone for artificial intelligence, for robotics, for the 4th industrial revolution. We need a platform now to engage governors, to see the validity of infrastructure, to treat it like electricity. As we know that critical national infrastructure is not only about infrastructure but about the information. So we need also our data hosted locally. It's very important that our health records, our educational records, our medical records are kept in country as part of the critical national infrastructure. Governments need to build into that because it's actually a currency for Nigeria and for our citizens as well.
I mean, it's tough, but I guess that's where ATCON as an advocate and also as a pressure group comes in. I think we have to just continue to show what the additive value that digital operators add to the ecosystem, and also the apart from the additive value, also the value proposition that allows more penetration, and also that brings and fosters even more productivity, and that means more taxes, that means more a growing economy for those states. So we need to frame the issues very well and make them understand the entire value proposition, and it's in the best interest of everybody.
Yeah, so we keep talking about advocacy, right, which ATCON is doing at the moment. The federal government releasing the Gazette for the CNII, that's the critical national infrastructure, it's a very good move in the right direction. The populace needs to understand the importance of the telecom infrastructure, which is what has happened. Now, for the state government to give the right of way, the state governors need to also understand what they stand to benefit from the right of way. Because when you give that right of way, it creates that seamless environment, enabling environment for telcos to lay their fiber, put up their infrastructure at a lower capex, and that also drives revenues and the GDP of the state. So when that clamoring or advocacy happens in the industry and happens with the state government and state governors to understand the benefit of giving those ROW, it benefits them directly and indirectly, because the telcos will now be able to lay their fiber freely or even cover more distance because the ROW has become free, so to speak, or even maybe subsidized or de-risked.
You see, you need to get the buy-in of the state government by making them see the profitability of them having such infrastructure within their land space. So if they see that they're going to make money or their society is going to get richer, they will surely plug into the plan, the blueprint of the federal government. So we only need to find a way to bring them together and discuss the benefits, the mutual benefits. And once they see the mutual benefit that will come to them and their own people, definitely they always want to have political influences. This will be a very good key for them to win the minds of their citizens.
See, Nigeria is the fastest growing economy, and if they have to become a world leader, it is time for state governments to become flexible and come together, join towards the contribution towards growing the country. And for the growth of country, fiber penetration is very, very critical, and I think right of way is something conventional. They should let go of it. There are many areas of generating revenue, like collaborating with telecommunication companies, giving them access, becoming a revenue sharing model. There are many things which can be done. Right of way is, I think, it's a old thing and should be gone now.
I think it's an holistic thing. A lot of them are confirming already, okay? So, and they understand 8 of them, that's the beginning, right? The rest of them must just be advocated, okay? But when you want to get people to do things, you need to explain to them why they need to do it. You don't just enforce it. Like you say, they are states, so they have their own laws and their own requirements within their states, okay? So it's our job as advocates and also for the federal government to actually explain this to them and let them see reasons why there is value in it. You can't just tell somebody to give you something for free without explaining the value to them, okay? What is the value of what you are proposing, and how will that add to my own digital transformation in my state? That's all we need to do, and I think the future will be bright.
So I think for me, my own way would be to restructure the Universal Service Provision Fund and have it done in a way that states are also, or states within the 6 geopolitical zones sort of compete to be incentivized, right, to help bridge should I say fiber broadband infrastructure gaps. There should be some sort of carrot and stick approach. So if you are seen to be meeting certain KPIs, you are awarded a grant, to enhance digital development in your state. I think if something like a UBEC, a techtvng, something like that, I think if you have that, I think states will be encouraged to do more. Yeah.
I think the states need to understand the reason why the government is doing this. They have to come to the party, because if the state come to the party, it's beneficial for everyone. So imagine if they all understand and they key into it, how easy it's going to be. So they all need to come, be part of it, because not being part of it is not going to make it work. So for it to work, they have to come to it. So they just have to understand what the benefits are for them. Then they'll be able to understand and come to the party as well and work with the government as well.
See, do not forget, what used to call Telecom Consumers Parliament. Don't forget that people used to vandalize cell sites. Don't forget, all those things have stopped today, isn't it? Because of gentlemen of the press like you. That's why I said during my speech as one of the awardees to appreciate ATCON, the members of the media, they were an indispensable component, indispensable partner in the telecom revolution. So only 8 out of 36 states can tell you something. The regulator, the telecom operators, the telecom companies, ATCON, continue to, with your advocacy, continue to enlighten. Talk about broadband consumer parliament, put it that way. Engage members of the public, engage the various state governors, book an appointment to address the governor when they had the Nigeria Governors Forum.
but just one out of the 8 governors that have done so, seek an appointment with the Director General of the Nigeria Governors Forum. He would discuss with the chairman of the Governors Forum, and the CEO of NCC or even the president of ACON can have a brief discussion with the governor, just to tell you governors are busy, only 5 minutes or even 10 minutes. So it's advocacy. You, the members of the media, you are indispensable in this advocacy. So all that are required or is required is the enlightenment. See, governors, I worked with the governor before for 5 years plus. Governors want to deliver. Governors want to succeed. Governors want to excel. So when they appreciate that with this broadband infrastructure crisscrossing their local government headquarters, fiber to the home, fiber to the building, fiber to university, to school, to hospitals, that the infrastructure will be an asset. They will be the one advocating, looking for it. So that is our work as professionals within the industry.
The event also served as a call to action for stakeholders to resolve the challenges facing Nigeria's telecom sector, to enable the country enjoy continuous innovation, attract investments, foster collaboration and enhance the transformative role in achieving Nigeria's ambition to become Africa's digital economy powerhouse.